Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Storytime Society. Seriously, love you. It's raining right now, so imagine that we are all just cozied up with a little cup of hot tea or hot coffee, and I'm reading you a story. That's giving. And it's so nice when it's raining because I just feel in such a vibe. And it's the only other change of weather that we have in Florida. Hot and rainy. And sometimes a lot of wind. Love that. Get me out of here. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here, please. Please. Okay. The theme of today's episode is updates only. So let's get into it. The title of the first story is, Am I the asshole for not getting into a relationship with my girlfriend and best friend? So I, a 21 male, broke up with my girlfriend, 20 female, a week ago. The reason of that is because apparently her and my friend, 21 male, fell in love and also loved me and wanted the three of us to be together. I'm not the only one that thinks that's wild, and thinking about it still makes me laugh. Honestly, that's the most bizarre thing that's ever happened to me. I have absolutely nothing against people in poly relationships, but really? To paint a clearer picture, me and my friend, let's call him Seth, have been friends since middle school. I used to spend nearly every day over at his place, so I'm pretty close with his family as well. At least enough for his parents to call me their son too. So yeah, best friends. Seth came out as gay in high school. Yes, gay, not bi or pan or anything, gay. As in convinced he's not into women at all. And I never had a problem with it. Hell, I used to accompany him to every pride event hosted in town. Yes, I was sometimes teased for being gay too, and me and Seth being boyfriends, but I always brushed it off with a laugh. I met Holly 7 months ago at my cousin's birthday. My cousin and her have been friends for a little while back, so she was invited. We started chatting and have been dating for about 5 months now. Holly and Seth would obviously see each other often due to me and would hang out one-on-one too, which I never had a problem with. They were friends, which I was happy about. And then it happened. Last week, Seth came over to my apartment to play games while Holly was staying over for the weekend. Things were good. Though now I think back on it, the atmosphere seemed a little more awkward than ever. Anyway, Seth and Holly sat me down and begged me to listen to what they had to say. They revealed that they've had feelings for each other for a while now, but never acted out on them. However, they ended up talking about it a few days prior when the pressure became too much, and like the geniuses they were, they decided that the perfect solution for their problem was for all three of us to date. Seth said that he's actually liked me for years and I've been acting like a boyfriend anyway, so might as well make it official. Honestly, all of that came out of nowhere. I was shocked. Admittedly, I laughed because of how much I couldn't believe what was happening. Yes, this was clearly an emotional affair or something of that kind, but this was the first time I heard people be so extremely delusional. Dating my girlfriend and my best friend? No, thank you. So yeah, I broke things off right then and there with Holly and told Seth to figure himself out before kicking them both out. I blocked them both on everything. Seth's family and my own have been contacting me for the past week to ask about what happened, but back off when I tell them the truth. I'm a bit upset, obviously. My best friend turned out to be untrustworthy, and my ex-girlfriend cheated on me in a way, even if it wasn't physical. But this is also kind of hilarious. I'm not sure. The reason I'm making this post, though, is because Holly's mom called me just yesterday. Apparently, her daughter hasn't been taking the breakup well. Said that Holly loves both me and Seth, and my reaction really hurt her. The whole thing with Seth started because they would talk about me a lot, and Seth is much more attentive than me. So that attracted her to him. Listen, maybe I'm not the best boyfriend in the world, but at least I'm loyal. Until someone betrays me. Holly's mom was looking out for her daughter, so I just thanked her for her time before hanging up. I have been thinking about the entire thing a little more, though. So am I the asshole for not getting into a relationship with my girlfriend and my best friend? I mean, no. Nothing in this even makes you an asshole at all. Obviously, there's no way shape or form to even say that he is the asshole. I do think that having an emotional affair makes the other two the asshole, though. And also, like, I know that you can't help it, so it's like, what are you going to do about it once you become emotionally attracted to someone? I guess, like, if you feel like you're becoming attracted to them or emotionally connecting with them in more than just a friend's way, then you like take a step back from that. You obviously can't like help your feelings, but I would be really upset if I was this guy. I'm surprised he's not more upset. I feel like he's honestly not as upset as I would be, because I would just be like so confused. Being betrayed by not only your girlfriend, but also your best friend, and your best friend that you've been best friends with since middle school. Ooh, that would not feel good at all. That would not feel good. I do agree, like, she obviously did cheat on him in a way. I don't know. It's so interesting that they came and were like, hey, let's actually. I also hate, like, when it comes to a point where it's like the friend ended up being emotionally or whatever, like physically attracted to you the whole time. Like, I would hate if I was like best friends with someone and then they were like, actually, I've actually liked you this whole time and we should just date now. Because I feel like that is even like a bigger form of betrayal, because it's like, oh, I thought we were best friends and like we were going to be best friends forever. I don't know. Whatever. Someone said, not the asshole, but are you sure you wouldn't give it a chance? If you don't like it, you don't have to stay in it. Oh my God. Okay, well, I think that if you don't want to be dating two people at once, you don't have to be dating two people at once. Like, I don't think that you even need to give it a shot. I know for a fact that I would not want to do that. I understand if you were someone who maybe was questioning if you would be open to something like that. But I feel like a lot of people usually know. If my boyfriend and my best friend came to me and was like, hey, we should all three date because we caught feelings for each other, I would be like, yeah, no, we should all three not date and actually probably never talk again, because I don't want to date two people at once. And no shade, it's your individual choice to do that, and I don't judge you for it. But like, me personally, I could never handle that. Like, I also just think having one partner for me is already not a lot of work, but it's not like I love my boyfriend so much. But being in a relationship you have to always focus on like another person. You know, you have to always think about another person, not just yourself. Obviously, I know that's like kind of selfish to say, but when you're single, you only have yourself to worry about. And it's kind of like, it's something new to navigate when you get into a relationship, and it's like every day, like no matter what I'm doing, as little as like what I'm having for dinner that night, I have to think about also what my partner would want for dinner. And I know we can eat two separate things, but it's just a lot easier to make one thing for both of us, you know, or just like think about what we're both going to want in that way, if I'm making any sense. But OOP said, pretty sure I'm not into dudes or having more than one partner. No hate towards people that do. I agree. Like, someone said, not the asshole, not at all. Seth probably manipulated your ex into a relationship hoping to get closer to you, and now Holly seems to regret it, but you definitely should not take her back. They both betrayed you. No relationship, friendship, or anything should be allowed with either of them. Congrats on standing your ground, blocking them both, and moving on with your life. Wishing you the best. Wait, what? I'm confused. Seth manipulated your ex into a relationship? Okay, I don't think that is the case here. He already was close to him. They were best friends. How much closer could he get? I'm confused. Someone said, what is even more shocking for me is Holly's mom trying to manipulate OP into accepting the relationship. That itself, in my opinion, is very disturbing and disgusting. OP said, I wouldn't actually say her mom was trying to manipulate me. From what I know, Holly's always been very close to her mom. I met the woman a few times and we get along. I could tell she really loves her daughter. That phone call was less her trying to pressure me into getting with Holly again and more about her, seeing her and talking about what happened instead of shutting her out. All right, this update is 5 months later, and this is actually August 13th of this year, so not too long ago. Hello, it's been a while since my first post. My older sister asked me recently if I was planning to update people here and told me to do it when I said no. She told me that the people here might shake some sense into me so that I'm willing to do something and finally call the cops, but I doubt it. Sorry, sis. About a month after my post, a friend was celebrating his birthday. Obviously, I went despite knowing that Seth would be there. I was fine with that. That friend didn't have any drama with Seth and they got along well, so I was just planning on avoiding the guy for the rest of the night. I came there mostly to have fun, but I heard gossip from some of my closest friends. If anyone here is wondering, Holly and Seth aren't together. Apparently, he threw her away quickly after what happened with the whole confession thing. Me and Holly aren't in contact anymore, and last I heard, she's already found herself a new guy. Fine with me. To get to the point, there was obviously alcohol at the party. We were all being idiots, and I always felt safe enough with my group to just trust no one would let me get hurt or do something stupid enough to get in trouble. And yes, we had a few people staying sober either because they were driving or taking meds that made them unable to drink. This is actually a little hard to write. I do have some flashes of what happened, but I don't like dwelling on them. One of my friends drove me home. Seth drove with us too, and the friend left him with me because she wasn't aware of exactly what happened between us and Holly. I guess I know what happened, but even in writing, it makes me feel heavy. I've had no contact with Seth or family. They've been contacting me sporadically, but I shut them all out. My siblings are the only ones that know what happened because I ended up trying to joke about it once and I got grilled until I spilled everything out. My brother wanted to pretty much unalive Seth. My sister told me that Reddit might kick my ass into gear to at least go to therapy because it's honestly harder than I expected. Like there's a barrier keeping me from looking into any options I have. Do I hate Seth? Yeah. The thought of him repulses me. Do I care about him? Also, yeah. I've known him forever and seen him as my family for years. So, do your worst, Reddit. I also know people don't like it when there are no updates. So this is a gift from me to all of you, hoping that anyone reading this is having a better time than me. Okay, so I'm assuming he got SA'd, which is really awful and sad, and I hate that for him so much. That's really terrible. But I agree with the sister. He should absolutely be going to the police and telling them because I know that that's a hard thing to do and a lot easier said than done, especially when he can't even write it out without like being upset about it. But I definitely always recommend going to the cops because, and also therapy. Therapy will be very helpful in this situation. Oh, okay. Someone said, call the freaking cops, you absolute peanut. Therapy and repost that abuser. Do you realize that if he had the guts to do this to you, he will do it to someone else? Don't be like me. Oh, I'm assuming they meant report, but I read repost because that's what it says. I never reported my abuser and he hurt others like he hurt me. It's not a joking matter. You must do it.
If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you.
Okay, well, let's calm down. Give him the time to process it. I know I do agree that he should. Well, they're also putting that in caps, which is why I'm saying like calm down because they put a lot of that in caps and it just like seems very aggressive. And it's like, yes, I do agree that you should report your abuser, especially because they will go out and do that to other people or think that it was okay or they're just, sick. But at the same time, you have to let people that go through situations like this process it on their own time. OOP, and this was downvoted, I guess. His comment back to that commenter. Yeah, I know that I joke around, but I also know this is a serious situation. It's been almost 4 months since this situation with Seth happened, and I only feel sick when I think about reporting this to the police. Unfortunately, where I live, things like that aren't treated as seriously as they would have been if I was a woman. OOP responds to a longer comment regarding the mixture of things that are keeping men from making reports. OOP said, a couple of years ago, there was a scandal in our town because a teenage boy got drunk at a party and also got assaulted by a few of his friends, both girls and boys. The parents tried reporting it, but it didn't go anywhere. He was being mocked about it, saying that A, he must have enjoyed it with the girls, and B, it was an assault because it was with other guys. I do mean it when I say that. I know that there should be at least a report when it comes to Seth, but the police won't do anything about it. And if it gets out what happened to me, I may literally go through the same thing that that guy did. And yes, he ended up taking pills and passed away soon after all of that. I wouldn't say I'm in a bad state like that, but still, I don't want it to get worse. Okay, wait, that's really sad. Oh my gosh. That's wild. Commenter, someone said, how will you feel when Seth does this again to another guy? Even worse, what if the next guy ends his life over it? How will you feel then? They're being very rude to this guy. Like, the comments are really kind of stressing me out. I understand the seriousness of it. I do get that. But like, I also don't think that it's okay to be like yelling at this guy saying like it's going to be your fault that he does this to another person and that he's going to go, like, you know what I mean? It's like you're putting all of that on this person who is a victim of that guy, and you're making it seem like it's going to be his fault, which of course he's going to feel bad about it, but that would be no one else's fault but Seth if he did that to another guy. Of course, him reporting it could lead to Seth getting in trouble for it. But I understand his I understand his hesitations of being nervous that that's going to happen to him, especially when he saw something similar happen and that person ended up taking their life. Like, I would also be very scared. I can't imagine being mocked for something terrible and traumatic that happened to you and being at that low of a point where not only did you get assaulted, but you also got mocked for it. That's just like stacking things up. Like, I get why he would be hesitant to go to the police. I get why any person anywhere would be hesitant to go to the police. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world. And depending where you are, it can be even harder. Like, obviously, this place is not a safe place. So I understand, but I'm just so confused why everyone's being so mean to him. Like, it's your it's your fault if he gets hurt by another like if he hurts another person. Like, I don't think you should be blaming this guy for something that his abuser would do to someone else. Like, oh, he said, I mean, is this a serious question? I would feel like shit. Yeah, I'm not to blame for Seth's actions, but I'm capable of compassion. Doesn't change the fact that there's literally nothing I can do because the police here don't bother with most things, and most have the mentality that guys can't get sexually assaulted. A lot of people have that mentality, unfortunately, which is just crazy to me because it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? No means no in any situation. Like, what? Someone said, the amount of rage I feel is indescribable. The fact that there are likely to be zero consequences for anyone but the victims of the worst part is the worst part. If he won't go to the cops, understandably so, he should at least consider taking his siblings up on their rather generous offer, respectively. Well, that was the only update. So I hope that he's okay. It's only been, like a week since he posted that update. So I really hope that he's okay, because as we, like, right, it's always so, I don't even know how to explain it, but like when I'm thinking about, when you put yourself in like a mindset to think about like the fact that this person is going through that right now, and then you think about the fact that so many people are going through so many terrible things right now, and I'm just sitting here like reading these stories, and my life is like, I just always feel so terrible because it's like, ugh, I don't even know. I can't even get into it. I always am talking about this, but like, it's a feeling of hopelessness and like helplessness. Is that, are those the words to describe it? That like, I'm just sitting here and I wish that I could do something about it. And that applies to a lot of things that are going on in the world right now. But we're going to move on to the next story. The title of the next story is, Will I be the asshole if I told my ex that his new girlfriend told me to back the F off already? A few days ago, my 30 female ex's 32 male new girlfriend, 27 female, texted me out of the blue and told me, first politely and then not so much, to back the fuck off and not contact my ex anymore because apparently it's disrespectful and I should be over it by now. Some context here, my ex and I broke up roughly 6 years ago, but we're still friends. Why? Because we didn't have a reason not to be. Our breakup wasn't a dramatic one, just two people who'd been together since their late teens realizing that they wanted different things in life. But since we still got along great, and he had his daughter, my niece, who I basically helped raise, we decided to stay friends. The reason his girlfriend's message surprised me as much as it did is that A, it came really out of the blue. I didn't even know she had my number. And B, she has absolutely zero reason to be suspicious of anything. My ex and I still hang out, yes, but always with either my niece or other friends. And on occasion, we go to school events for my niece, like when she has a performance or something. I genuinely don't think I've done anything with him one-on-one since. Damn, since before our breakup, I think. The most one-on-one he and I ever do is when he drops off or picks up my niece. She has a room at my place, in case that matters. And we wait for her to get her things. But that's all. Also, his girlfriend and I have met before at my niece's and then my ex's birthday, and she was nice both times. We didn't talk much, just a regular, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. That's a lovely dress. Bye. So I didn't think she had any issues with me. On top of that, I'm dating someone new too. So yeah, I'm not sure what her deal is at all. And when she texted me, my arse was halfway to giving my ex a ring and telling him to maybe have a chat with his girlfriend because something is definitely wrong, but another part of me really doesn't want to interfere with his relationship like that. My ex is a good dude, and from what my niece told me and from what I've seen at the two birthdays, he really adores her. Like, he genuinely gets puppy eyes when he looks at her, which that stoic arse man never does. He deserves to be this happy, he really does. And most importantly, my niece likes her too. That wasn't the case with the other two girlfriends he had since we broke up. So this is a huge issue I need to consider too. Telling him would put all of this in jeopardy, but like what else am I supposed to do? I'm definitely not going to cut contact with either my niece or my ex just because she wants me to. No effing way. But she was rather insistent on the matter, so I don't think she'll leave it alone either. My flatmate is team tell him and get it over with, but she's, with love, a bit of a prick, so I'm hesitant to take her word on anything. I think that you should tell him 100% because what is her deal? Like, she's clearly just extremely insecure and there's no reason for her to be thinking that you guys are doing anything, which I understand it's like a weird situation to be dealing with that, but like to be dealing with someone that you're in a relationship with, being with, hanging out with and being involved with their ex and stuff. But at the same time, it's like, if you didn't want to be involved with that, then you shouldn't have like kept dating him in the first place. If you're not comfortable with that, then you should like just take yourself out of the equation. Because this situation is just so different. It's just so different. Now she's like, she calls the little girl her niece, and which, I mean, I guess whatever. They're close and stuff. So it's like, I was thinking more of like a stepdaughter kind of, but I don't know. It's like if your partner had a kid with someone, but it's obviously a little bit different, but still, like, it's like if your partner had a kid with someone and then you were like, your baby mama needs to leave you alone. Like, no, actually, you need to either be okay with it or just take yourself out of the equation. Someone said he deserves to know if his girlfriend is talking to his friends like that or making accusations of flirting with him. Tell him. OOP said, that is the wildest part. She didn't even accuse me of flirting with him. Like, if she had been able to genuinely tell me what upset her, then I could have cleared the air. But she really just wants me gone because she thinks exes have no business being friends. But yeah, I think I'll have to give him a call tonight. Even if he does nothing, at least he knows. Good. I think that's a good decision because especially thinking about her not having any reason to she didn't give anything to back it up. Like, I'm uncomfortable with the way that you do this or the way that you guys act or blah, 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 blah. It's just for the fact that you think that exes shouldn't be involved with each other. So is that how you would feel also if, like I said, your kid or your boyfriend had a kid with another girl? You'd expect him to just cut that, like, his baby mama out of his life? I know it's different, obviously, because it's not his baby mama, but the the little girl that she calls her niece deserves stability, and this girl is offering stability by not leaving her life, and I think that it's great of her to continue being in her life, and I don't see anything wrong. I think that in this case, you just kind of have to, like, man up and be an adult. I would understand if it was a different situation and it was like your ex was just always hanging out, or your boyfriend was just always hanging out with his ex, but there was like no reason, there was no rhyme or reason for it. I feel like this is just a special scenario. Okay, this is the next day and it's an update. I thought I would give you guys a little update in case any of you are interested. First, I did end up calling my ex after I came back from work last night. I was insanely nervous because I still felt and still do feel bad about rocking the boat. But yeah, you guys were right. It should be his decision if he wants to cut me off, not his girlfriend's. Now, after some regular chatter, I went in and told him what happened and even read him some of the messages his girlfriend had sent me. He didn't say much as I did, not that I expected him to. That man has a daily average of 15 words, 25 if he's feeling very chatty, and mostly just listened quietly. I couldn't gauge his reaction, so I kind of just ended up rambling and mentioning some of the things that you guys have advised me to do. You know how he can step back if that's what he needs. I'd respect his decision on that, but how I would appreciate if I could keep my niece out of it and all of that. The latter part is kind of where he spoke up, mostly to snort, "You idiot." And then he told me he already knew that she had texted me because my boyfriend told him. They're friends and coworkers. My boyfriend apparently noticed that I was more upset than I wanted to let on and asked my ex to call me because something happened between her and your girlfriend. Which makes sense, by the way. I've asked my boyfriend if my behavior with my ex was ever uncomfortable or inappropriate after the girlfriend texted me, just to make sure I wasn't doing something wrong without being aware of it. And I've been stewing over this mess for like a week, so yeah. Not surprised my boyfriend noticed something was up. My ex chose to wait until I said something myself before breaching the topic, though. My boyfriend didn't tell him what exactly happened, but my ex sort of figured it was something like her telling me to cut contact. He then once again told me that I'm an idiot and that I should have told him immediately, because this wasn't on. The two of them, so he and his girlfriend, talked about this before, even before they officially got together. And he had made it very clear that there was no way in hell he would be cutting me off, because I've been his friend before I was his girlfriend, and I've stayed his friend for long after that. And because I'm basically my niece's mom, or the closest thing that she has to a mom. So before they started dating, he told her that she would have to be cool with that. He'd understand if she wasn't, but he'd not change his mind because I've done the legwork and she hasn't. Now, according to him, she was absolutely fine with it, and even told him that she really liked me and wanted to get to know me more after the birthdays I mentioned prior, so he doesn't know what has gotten into her. I asked him if she mentioned something else at a later time, like that something I did or said made her uncomfortable or feel insecure, but he said no. She also didn't hint at anything. And yes, I asked multiple times with examples just to make sure, because respectfully, my ex isn't great at taking hints at all. His brain is wired strictly forwards, so anything slightly obscure does not ring any bells in his wee head. As we chattered on, still trying to work out what could have ticked her off, he suddenly got really quiet, and I was like, "Dude, are you there?" And he then said that he may have an idea what did it for her. He didn't tell me what, though, because he said it's a conversation he needs to have with her first, so I didn't ask further. He did assure me that it was nothing I did, though. We pretty much left it at that, and he told me he'd have a chat with her and see what's up, and depending on what it is, he'd let me know. So now we wait. Oh, and we both kind of hoped that she left it at contacting me and didn't talk to my niece about this. She's kind of been in a funk all week, but keeps telling us it's nothing, so we kind of assumed it was hormones or stress and told her to take it easy. But since the dates of her bad mood and the girlfriend messaging me line up, we're a bit worried that she mentioned something or asked my niece to cut me off or whatever. Anyways, thanks for the advice, you guys. If I hear anything, I'll let you guys know. Until then, I think this is it. Edit/more info. I think a lot of people are confused by my niece being my niece and also my ex's kid. Sorry, I should have reiterated before things got muddled. A short stack of facts. My ex, 32 male, is a teen dad. He had my niece while he was still in the equivalent of high school. He and I, 30 female, got together roughly a year after she was born, but he only introduced me to her when she was 2.5. Since I was still pretty young then, I wasn't super comfortable with being called mom. So my niece ended up calling me auntie. This stuck, and she calls me aunt today, and I call her niece, but we're not related by blood. Her bio mom is not and has never been in the picture. I did all the mom things, from potty training her to seeing most of her first, to going to her parent-teacher conferences and whatnot. This is why my ex says that I'm the closest thing she has to a mother. And to finish it up, my ex and I didn't break up recently. We broke up 6 years ago because we wanted different things in life. We stayed in contact because we've always been friends first, and most importantly, because of my niece. These days, my niece comes to stay with me at least every other week, sometimes more, sometimes less, because my ex and I are both chill with her choosing for herself. And she has her own room at my place. Aww. Well, I love her for that. I love this girl for sticking by this little girl that doesn't have a mom. And I feel like if that were me, I would admire that girl so much. If I were the boyfriend's current girlfriend, I would literally be like, you're such a great person for sticking by this little girl and being an example. And I wouldn't want to be like trying to replace her, because I'm sure, well, first of all, like obviously stability and consistency in a little kid's life is so important. So having her continue to be in her life is going to help so much in the future. Like avoids a lot of like trauma and like fear of abandonment, which I'm sure she will already have because her mom was never in, like her real mom has never been in the picture. So I'm sure that's something that she'll already have to deal with, but it's better to minimize it as much as possible. And obviously she cares about her. And I feel like if that were me, I would feel the same way. Like I would also want to be involved in her life if I was involved in raising her so much and had such a say in her life and like her growing up. And I would feel the same. But it's just crazy to me that this girl is like freaking out, because that's exactly what I said. Like, you knew this at the beginning of the relationship. Obviously, you knew this. They'd broken up so long ago, and I'm not saying that means like you could never end up rekindling or you could never end up like cheating or anything like that. But the whole premise of their relationship seems like it's based on the niece, and I think you could see that. I mean, I can see that with my own eyes just reading this. So like, I'm pretty sure being in their lives, I would feel the same way. So it's really annoying. Some relevant comments. It sounds like your ex has a solid understanding of your role in his and your niece's life, which is great. His girlfriend's behavior is still a bit odd, though, especially since she apparently liked you before. Glad you were able to clear the air. OOP said, yeah, it really makes this whole thing even stranger. I really hope he lets me know what it ended up being, just for my own peace of mind, and admittedly, because I'm a wee bit curious if she actually ends up telling him that is. Well, I feel like there's so many things that like just happened in that last update that we don't have a conclusion on, which kind of sucks, because I want to know like why the little girl has been upset, and I also want to know what the reason was that he thought of randomly and was like, oh wait, I actually think I might know what that it is. And this person said, wait, that's it? And then someone said, I feel the same way. I even went to their profile page hoping there was another update. That was just too recent to post. No such luck, I'm afraid. We'll have to do this the old-fashioned way and simply allow for the linear progression of time to do its thing. Yeah, continuing stories like this should be held off until there's some level of completion to them. Obviously, there's no knowing where the actual end point is going to be. I think it's fine. Right? Like, it's fine if it's there's an update. Like, how do you know if they're ever going to update again? She might not ever even update again. But this doesn't even feel like it's at the conclusion of the first part yet. We still need that resolution of why the new girlfriend has started acting like this and what she said to the daughter. I get that people might be in a rush to post these before someone else does, but they should really hold off until it's a bit more complete. And then someone responded, this sub has just been Redditor updates instead of best of Redditor updates for a while. People here upvote every single post, even if it's 3 updates that are all clarifications and recaps with no new information or conclusion. Well, I guess I don't really know the point of this subreddit then. It's from best of Redditor updates, which I'm just thinking like they're stories with updates. I didn't think they were like best of Redditor conclusions, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that that's why there's different flares to organize by like concluded, ongoing, inconclusive, new update, repost, external, you know? That is just a tough situation to deal with. We're going to move on to the advice slash confessions segment. So if you ever have a confession or if you want unprofessional advice from me, there is a Google form in the description where you can fill that out for either or. And there's also a Google Voice number that you can call and leave a voicemail. The number is 561-264-7017. And yeah, okay, let's get into it.
Hi, Jamie. My name is Amelia. I absolutely love your channel. Sorry if I sound out of breath. I'm on a walk and it's really hot outside, but, in a couple months, I am moving to another state, and, my boyfriend is still going to be where we currently live, and I'm just worried that it might not end great, and I'm not necessarily sure what I should do because I'm 16, he just turned 17, and we spent like all of last month apart, and it wasn't like, it felt really weird and distant, and I'm just kind of worried that that's going to happen, but I just know you've been in a long distance relationship before, so I wanted some advice on how you made that work. All right, thank you. I love your channel so much. Bye.
Aw. Aw, I love you so much. Okay, so this is what I would suggest. I would just suggest, and I know this is a lot easier said than done, but I would suggest, first of all, having a conversation with him and being like, hey, I am a little bit worried about what's going to happen because we are going to be apart from each other and that is going to be hard for the both of us. So I would love to know kind of what your plan is and what we should plan together for how we're going to keep in touch and how we're going to continue our relationship is the number one thing. You can just communicate. I think communication is such an important thing in a relationship. It's honestly like top 3, if not the number 1 thing in a relationship. And it's really important to voice those concerns in a way that is like logical. I don't know what word, level-headed. Obviously not being like, oh, I'm so stressed that you're going to leave me and like blah, 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 because that is just, it puts a lot of, I don't know. You don't want to put that negativity into the air. You just want to be like calm and collected and just have a little conversation with him and just say that you've just been like a little bit anxious about it and you would love to hear his thoughts for how you guys are going to continue the relationship and what his thoughts are on you guys being long distance as well. Because I think that it's important for both of you guys to decide how you're going to make it work, if you're going to make it work, and what your plans are for doing that. And then second of all, I wouldn't, and this is the part that I was saying is a lot easier said than done, I wouldn't worry too much right now because you're not there yet. I would say take it like day by day and just, you don't expect it to be weird and distant. You know, don't be worried that that's going to happen because it hasn't happened yet. And that is, again, literally the way, 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 way easier said than done. But I've learned a lot in my life that worrying about the future and worrying about things that might happen is just a way to steal your current happiness and your present happiness away from the future. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I feel like if you're so focused on the future and you're so focused on what might go wrong in the future, then you can't enjoy the present and you can't enjoy where you are right now. Like hanging out with him right now until you guys are separated, and focusing on your relationship right now and being happy with him and being able to be with him, because soon you won't be able to be with him as much as you get to be with him now, if that makes sense. But yeah, I would just try not to worry about it, have the conversation, communicate. That's so important. And just take things day by day and try not to focus too much on the worries. And long distance relationships are definitely really hard. And especially when you're that young, it can be even harder. And do what's best for you as well. If you want to continue, and I'm not saying like you have to break up, because just if you want to be with this person, you can be with this person and you can make it work. But if you're feeling pressure, or you're feeling like it would be better if you guys went your separate ways, you can also do that and do what's best for you and do what you really think is right. But at such a young age, since you're moving, you should honestly look towards moving and making new friends and like having a change of scenery, and try to focus on the good things and the positives that could come out of the situation, because there are a lot of positives that could come out of the situation, and there's always really fun and exciting things when it comes to change and going to a new place. And I think that it opens a lot of opportunities to make new friends and make a good little life for yourself. So I hope that helped a little bit. And I hope that it kind of took a little bit of the stress off of you and maybe helped you come down to earth and kind of ground yourself a little bit and realize that you don't need to worry about it right now. You don't need to worry about the future, and just try to enjoy the present and look forward to the positive things. But yeah, I hope that helps, and I love you so much. Thank you so much for calling in. I love to hear your guys' voices, and it's just so fun and cute, and I feel so connected. Like we're just like besties chatting. So every time I get a call on here, it's always like so fun to listen, and I hope that you guys enjoy it as much as I do. If you guys have any advice for her, or if you have any opinions or things to add on to any of the stories that we read today, please let me know. I would love to hear it. I love hearing all of your guys' opinions, and I love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode. You guys are literally the best people in the world, and I could not thank you enough for being here, for being alive, for watching, for taking time out of your day to hang out with me all the time. Seriously, love you. And I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye.
Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.